Welcome back to TGR. Today's episode with extra sparkles. Thank you for tuning in once again. Today we are taking a look at the Epiphone Exclusive Run Explorer from American Music Supply and Zzounds. I saw this was announced February maybe of this year, and I had been keeping a tab on it because I had played several of the Epiphone Explorers in local shops and guitar centers and whatnot, and I noticed that the Epiphone Explorers were quite nice. A recurring theme on the channel is the Priest concert I saw a month and a half ago that I'm still, having rippling after effects from. And I've been learning some Priest songs, including Turbo Lover, and so I've affectionately named this my Turbo Lover guitar. And I was very happy to be able to pick it up. And I'm surprised at how much I like it and how much value there is in this guitar. So we'll start by going over the specs of the Exclusive Run Epiphone Explorer here. It has many of the same features as a standard Epiphone Explorer, which is a mahogany body with a mahogany neck, and then an Indian laurel fingerboard. And the laurel on this particular one is very dark, which complements the finish of the guitar quite nicely. As with other Epiphone Explorers, it comes with the Epiphone lock tone tailpiece and Tune-O-Matic style bridge. I've actually ordered some Tone Pros replacements for this just because I prefer the Tone Pros. The retaining wire of the Epiphone lock tone can sometimes be noisy. It's not on this particular guitar. I have no issue with it. Holds tune wonderfully. It's just a preference at this point for me. Comes with two humbuckers, the Epiphone Pro Bucker 2 in the neck and the Pro Bucker 3 in the bridge. I have actually procured a set of EMG Zakk Wylde pickups to put into this to continue my descent into Judas Priest madness. It has a three-way selector switch. The up position is the neck, middle is both, and then down is bridge. Comes with a neck volume, bridge volume, master tone configuration here. And it is all hooked up via the Epiphone Quick Connect system. So it will be no problem to remove this, and then if I ever decide to put it back stock, I can do so. I will say that I was sort of bagging on the Epiphone Pro Bucker pickups in the Tracy Guns video that I did last week, but these actually sound pretty good. They're quite low output compared to the Tracy Guns ones, but I got some really neat fluid lead tones out of the neck and middle positions on this. Bridge isn't quite aggressive enough for me, but still, much improved over the Tracy Guns. And you know, this is a 2024 model. The Tracy Guns serial number is a 2021, so maybe they've made some behind the scenes tweaks to the Pro Bucker pickups that have yielded a better tone on this one. The fingerboard radius is 12 inches. It is loaded with medium jumbo frets. These medium jumbo frets are larger than the medium jumbo frets on a current Gibson model. So the current Gibson model Les Pauls and Explorers come with medium jumbo frets that measure somewhere around, I don't know, 0.036 inches or so after they have been crowned, in terms of the height. These are probably closer to, I don't know, 0.04, 0.044 inches. So they're a little bit bigger than your standard Gibson frets, which is great. I love that. 24.75 inch scale length, standard for an Explorer. I did level the frets on this, and I did notice that this fretboard has a considerable amount of fall away after about the 14th fret. And it's not just the frets, I think it is actually the board itself. Now, whether or not that is intentional, it actually yields a sort of benefit for me, which is that all these notes up here ring out really clearly, when sometimes if your neck angle or your fretboard is dead straight, you can lose some of the tone in the upper registers. But this one seems to have it a lot. But I did level the frets. I did notice that the wood itself is actually lower on this end of the fretboard, and the truss rod effects up to about the 15th fret. But I digress. Continuing with specs, it also has the Graphtec nut on it, which is wonderful. I like the Graphtec nuts. I'm completely shocked, but also delighted that it comes with Grover mini non-locking tuners on it. And these mini tuners are cool because it means I have totally straight string pull on this Epiphone Explorer. So like there's no fanning out like you see on some of the Jackson headstocks for V's and Kelly's. So I really like that, this straight string pull, and it holds tune just incredibly well because of that nut and these tuners. Two-way adjustable truss rod like the Tracy Guns model. And of course, single back plate back here for access of the knobs and the wiring, and then our output jack there, which I actually love the fact that they used a black metal, I think it's metal, maybe it's plastic, black plastic jack cover, even though the pick guard is white. So what really makes this different is the finish. And the finish on this guitar is probably going to be a love it or hate it. For me, it's an absolute love it. I love purple. I love sparkle. I think I've had some sparkly guitars on the channel before. Maybe not, but I've definitely in the past had some, Ernie Ball guitars with crazy sparkles, Tangerine Sparkle, Albert Lee, Shadow Gold, Steve Lukather, the Emerald Green PDN, Premier Dealer Network, stuff that they did like 10, 12 years ago. So I'm a fan of sparkles. This is really hard to photograph and really hard to explain in person, but it appears that it has sort of a lavender base coat rather than a black base coat for the sparkles. So like a lavender base coat. And then it's got sparkles of what I see in it of silver, of purple, of pink, probably a little bit of red in there too, just very subtle. Maybe it's a darker purple or a magenta or something, but it really moves with the light, and it looks just so phenomenal in my opinion, and it's perfect for covering things like Turbo Lover, which had this aesthetic for the album. with the pinks and the purples and the, you know, bright colors. And my wife pointed out that my shirt quite matches the guitar today, because I am a fan of a flashy looking guitar. I also affectionately called it my Casey and the Sunshine Band guitar, because I've been listening to some Casey and the Sunshine Band recently. Great band that I hadn't heard of before. That's not true. That I hadn't heard before. I'd heard of before. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this this video. I did not do a mixed in demo for it. Obviously, I've been breaking up the talking bits with some just pure tone stuff through my Friedman IRX and my Headrush, because I thought it was time for a change. And I did want to explain that most of the time I do use the tracks rather than just isolated guitar, because ultimately I don't know anybody that plays unaccompanied solo distorted or clean electric guitar other than like Joe Pass and oh god, what's his name, the guy that that inspired so many, the jazz guitar player. Boy, this is terrible that I can't remember this. What is his name? Well, I can't remember it, but I'll look it up and I'll put it in the video. So that's generally why I do a demo, because I feel like you need to hear it in the mix to understand how it's going to sound when you're on the stage or in the studio when you're playing these guitars. So anyways, thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe. Apparently there's a notifications button that I just learned about. Clearly I'm very skilled in the ways of YouTube. So hit that notifications button so that you can stay up to date with new TGR videos as they're released. Have a great day.